Alright guys, welcome to another episode. On this episode I want to talk about the concept of, do I have to be an English teacher in Japan? So I'm sure there's a bunch of you who really want to come to Japan, you want to live here, but you don't want to be an English teacher. That's not something you want to do, and you're looking for anything else. Well, I'm here to tell you that there are other options. However, they're not going to be as good possibly, or you might not have the necessary qualifications. So let me paint a picture for you. So why is being an English teacher the most prominent job for foreigners in Japan? Well, that's because, of course, we have the competitive advantage, right? We are better than the native Japanese people at speaking English. I mean, that is where we compete. We compete because we are native English speakers. However, in any other field, you will be competing with, you know, another person who's exactly qualified. Not only are they qualified, but they actually grew up living in Japan. They know the Japanese system. Most importantly, they're native, right? So they can speak Japanese, write Japanese flawlessly, right? And they're gonna have no problem integrating with their type of working environment. However, you might be an expert in your field. However, if you can't speak Japanese or write Japanese, there's gonna be that communication barrier. And quite frankly, companies in Japan, they're after the person who's going to be a lifer. What I mean by lifer is they want a person to join their company and stay forever. You know, in Japan, it's not like in America where after a few years you decide to, you know, quit and then you go to another company. You know, it's like a ladder, right? You gain experience and then you go to the next step. No, I mean, in Japan, most of the time it's seen as, no, you just stay there. If there's a ladder to climb, you'll climb it eventually there. So that's where the difficulty lies. Now, are there other jobs other than English teaching in Japan for you? Sure. Like, are you a professional baseball player? If so, yes. I mean, of course. I mean, you see foreign professional athletes all the time. Actually, when I went for my Japanese driver's license, I actually ran into the wife of a famous pitcher for the Oryx baseball team. So that was kind of cool. But unless you're a sports person, or if you're a computer programmer, to a certain extent, you can find a job here. However, you have to be very qualified in your field. Have lots of years of experience. The benefit of being in the field of programming is it's not so much heavily language based. What I mean by that is you don't really need to know so much Japanese to do your job, because the programming language is pretty much universal in most cases. So you can do a little bit of competing in that environment, but once again, you know, your run-of-the-mill company will, of course, desire a person who not only has the expertise, but can also speak Japanese as well. So if they find a combo and you're only, it's like a hamburger, right? If they find, they're the meat. If they find a person who's bringing both buns versus you only bringing one bun, I mean, who's gonna make the whole hamburger, right? That was a really weird analogy, but I hope you get my point. You know, you have to have something really special, like what we have as English teachers. We have that as a competitive advantage. What is your competitive advantage? What do you bring to the table? I have run into a bunch of foreigners also doing like different odds jobs here and there. Like if you want to just come in Japan and you just want to work part-time and travel, sure, you can do that. If you're coming from like Canada, Australia, or the UK, you know, you can get a 1-year working visa that'll allow you to work at almost all jobs, apart from working at like bars and stuff like that. So you can try and work even at like convenience stores if you wanted to. But once again, there will be a language barrier, and unless you're not worried about possibly just doing manual labor jobs, then you need to have some type of language ability, and that's also where the problem lies. You know, the average English tutoring job, 1 month salary will start around 250,000 yen, right? But if you were to do any other normal job, even to the certain extent as like translator jobs or being an interpreter, they usually make less money than teaching English. I mean, that's the problem. Teaching English in Japan, it pays more than your average starting out entry position. So unless you're highly qualified in your field and you have the Japanese skills to boot, it's going to be really hard to find a sustainable job in Japan that will pay the bills, it will save money, and it'll also be equal or better than an English teaching position. So it's just something to think about. So if you have any questions about this video or any of my other videos, feel free to comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Bye.